Hello and welcome, listeners, to episode number 10 of the Talking Parra podcast. And joining us tonight, we have our illustrious host, Adam. We've got Hayden from the Entertain House, or is it the Golden Point House? I'm sure we'll find out very shortly. And we've also got Maddie Tate from Tate Sports Cards. And I'm Troy from the Parra Cave podcast. We're going to review Magic Round. That was up there at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. Parra played the Roosters, and we're going to preview the game against the Manly Sea Eagles coming up this Friday night at CommBank Stadium. But enough of me talking. Over to you, Adam.
Wonderful, thanks, Troy. And I said Talking Parra, week 10, episode 10. Fortunately, this week we come to you after another loss, but it's a bit up and down at the moment. But that's footy, isn't it? You can't win them all. We know we'll be there at the pointy end of the season. Look, we'll obviously get to this week's game, but first I'm just going to touch the elephant in the room for those watching. Yes, you may have noticed none of us are wearing Parramatta jerseys tonight. It's not because we lost. We're not shit fans. Just putting that out there. We are experts here. We claim to be experts, don't we? So I've got some breaking news here that we've all been approached to coach the Canterbury Bulldogs this year, boys. Congratulations, we've done it. I know it's weird, but we know we're going to be talking about this sometime throughout the night. So let's just start with it. Canterbury Bulldogs, Trent Barrett, gone. First coach gone. What was that paying at the start of the year? You want to give me a tote? $1.10?
Like $1.10, yeah.
Surely. All right, let's get to it. There's been reports out there straight away. As the new coaches, are we saying we don't want Reid Mahoney staying at Parramatta, Troy?
We don't want him to stay.
No, we don't. We're the Bulldogs coaches now, mate. We're the interim Bulldogs coaches. That's why we're not wearing Parramatta jerseys.
Well, he's already come out and said to us that he's committed to 2023, so there's no drama.
His manager.
His manager did say that. Look, it's been everywhere, but I also want to highlight that Gus Gould also said it come out 2 weeks ago and said that Trent Barrett will be long at the club after he's gone. So do we believe what anyone says anymore, Matt?
No. 100% no. You probably saw my post on Twitter of the guy doing the backflip. But yeah, I personally, like, we've all seen it. Reid kissing the emblem every time he scores. The rumours have been travelling for weeks. But I don't know. I think Gus didn't allow anyone putting coaching clauses in there. So I think he knew it was coming. That's probably why he didn't let any new contracts. But Reid's contract, for what I've heard, hasn't been registered or nothing. So,
see, I got told earlier in the year, round 11, if his contract wasn't registered. And we know it's not registered because they don't have the salary cap space at the moment. Obviously, they've just let go of Naden. I'm sure he was on huge money there. They probably paid him in something else. But he's just gone to the Tigers. So that frees up a bit of space. But they've still got to get Kikau in. They've got it's round 11. Like, you're taking the piss out of bloke's career, really. You're making him go to a club. He's not going to play finals football for at least 5 years. No matter who they bring in now, when you sack a coach, it's a massive rebuilding phase, new systems to learn, which isn't going to happen now because they've brought in, well, us as the interim coaches, but obviously we're going to get the help of Mick Potter as well. He's the face of it. We're the background guys. We've been coaching Parramatta for the last 10 weeks and they've been listening to us, so we may as well see if we can get the Bulldogs.
We've had a pretty fair record. So.
Yeah, we've got a fair record. Exactly right. Look, we'll try and get the Bulldogs off the bottom of the ladder, get the Knights back there where they belong. But Hayden, look, we play Manly this week. DCE, obviously, if he plays, do you reckon Reid might go up to him during the game and say, DCE, how do I do it, mate? What do I do?
Yeah, how do you backflip on the situation? I tell you what the Bulldogs need. They don't need Mick Potter. They need magic. They need Harry Potter right now. They need a rabbit out of the hat. I'm not confident, but as people would have seen on my tips earlier, I've tipped the Dogs this week. People always get fired up when they sack their coach, but yeah, I think he's going to be going up for some advice.
To us? Yeah, he's going to come. Yeah. Oh, you mean I thought you meant Mick Potter was going to come to us for advice. So we know that. We are the background. We are the background.
So we're actually working in incognito and
incognito,
on the sly. We're actually working for Parramatta. That we're working at.
Our first move will be to drop Jaden Ockenbaugh and put Jacob Carraz on the wing. You heard it here first.
Yeah. All right, that's our first move, is it? Wonderful. All right, Troy. Your thoughts on any of the backflip stuff? Is it going to happen? Look, we know it's come out and said no. There's rumours floating around everywhere, but
it's just a very strange contract situation. As you said, it hasn't been processed yet, and all the Bulldogs members, they seem to think it has. They've got the announcement and stuff like that, but no NRL announcement. But it's just a very strange contract situation. I've heard that the Dogs are just buying, and then they're going to worry about offloading. But
it's not really how it works, is it? When your teams come in last, no offense, but your value in your players isn't there. So, and look, we found this out in, 12, 13. That's how we got ourselves in salary cap issues. When your teams come last and you underperform, your value for your players drops, as if teams aren't going to want to pay as much for your players. So you end up paying too much for them yourself in your salary cap. So if they turn around and say, look, Matt Burton, you're not required here anymore. I don't know what he's on. Surely he's on 650, 700 a year at least at the Bulldogs. And they say, Matt, you can go somewhere else.
I think he's their marquee, wasn't he?
He's one of them. They've got about 7 of them, remember? It's going really well for them. But look, if they turn around and they say, Matt Burton, you can go, I don't know, let's say back to Penrith. If Penrith all of a sudden want him back.
Well, I said that. Did I not?
Yeah.
I said that Burton will ask for a release after a year and go back to Penrith.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll go to Penrith because, honestly, I don't think they need him. I think the Centres, they've got doing a pretty good job, but except last week when they got beat by Parramatta, we're still celebrating that. But look, if Penrith had any brains, they go, oh, yeah, we'd love to take Matt back off you, but, oh, shit, we only think he's worth $500,000 now. Can you pay the other $200,000 for the next 3 years? And that's how it works. That's how we found ourselves in salary cap issues. So if the Bulldogs think magically they can turn around and offload these players to sign Reid, Lamy, whoever else they're signing. Mate, remember they were trying to sign Brendan Smith as well. They were. Obviously, he's gone to the Roosters, who now can apparently sign Coggo in 2 years' time. But anyway, it's a whole other story. Munster. Uncle Nick's a magic man, that bloke. Seriously, I'd like to see how
his payments, mate.
His financial advisor and his ATO office need to be
as you said before, Nathan's already gone. Apparently, he was on $300K. Doesn't look like Paul Vaughan's going to get a contract, so that could be another $300K. Matty Duffy doesn't look like he's going to be around. So what? Another 200, 250 maybe.
That's Kick-Out's contract, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's one out of the way. There's also Brandon Wakeham and a few others as well that are apparently on the list of.
Look, and I don't follow their lower grades very well, but I feel like if they've got any good young players coming through, as we've found out, Will Penasini obviously had to give him a pretty decent upgrade. Even Isaiah this year had to get a bit of an upgrade the way he played last year. So I don't like them, but I feel like they're getting themselves in a pretty bad situation. I can see them on the bottom. But enough talking about the Bulldogs. We just had to have that little bit of a jab at them. They are one of our closest rivals, obviously. And yeah, look, guys, if you need any advice, just come to us. We'll tell you what to do and what not to do every week. So let's go to Magic Round.
Just make sure you tag Gus Gould in the comments or something.
Yeah, I know Matty will be all over it for sure. So, Magic Round, before we get the Parramatta game, last year was the send-off, the sin bins. Hayden, Troy, you were both there. Was the highlight of Magic Round the brawl? Or I'm hearing a lot of stuff about the camera. They had Kiss Cam, they had Oblivious Cam. It seems like it was the highlight of the weekend. Hayden?
Oh, there was plenty of highlights for the weekend. The camera was hilarious. The Oblivious Cam, there were people reading books while games were being played, or there was someone asleep right near me.
Yeah, I saw that one.
The Kiss Cams were pretty funny. I tell you what, like it started off a bit funny, but this whole jerky, sucky movement that everyone was doing, it got a bit like everyone was doing it, So
I saw some kids do it, which is classic Queensland.
Yeah, there was quite a few. But no, Magic Round was an absolute success. Obviously, last year had all the sin bin send-off. There was still some sin bins throughout the match, but some really good matches. They warned everyone of the weather on Friday, but they should have had those warnings out for Saturday because it was pouring down, especially that Golden Point game. But I had a lot of fun, and I'm sure you did too, Troy.
Was there a Golden Point game? Was there, Hayden?
Oh, Hayden. Duck has been broken.
Golden Point after 132 NRL games. There wasn't going to be a vlog, but in the end there was. a little bit of a game day vlog. Pretty stoked about getting to witness Golden Point. It feels like I'll make the announcement now. Much as I love YouTube and things, if Parramatta do win the comp this year, I'll step down from YouTube. I'll call it a day. I feel like I've seen everything now. So it's been a massive journey. And obviously, if Parramatta don't win the comp, I'll be back next year to game day vlog. But I will be Entertain House from 8 p.m. tomorrow night. It's a 1 week trend, just a week of that hype. As round 11 kicks off for Indigenous round, Entertain House will return. But when's the next Golden Point game going to be?
Yeah, it's true. It's good to see.
We all knew you were excited because you were quite quiet in the chat when we said, "Oh, Hayden, it's Golden Point." We had nothing from you, so you must have been pretty stoked.
I thought he might have been on Oblivious Cam. He just wasn't turning up that much in the chat. But look, Hayden, it's obviously wonderful to see you break the drought in the weekend. So, Troy.
Yeah, look, I only went up on the Sunday morning for the Parra game and the other games that were on. But, it was a great atmosphere up there. It was great to go to the pre-Eels get-together at the Lord Alfred Hotel. They always put on a good function there with Pricey and Kenny. And, Big Tukey was there. And Shawnee Russell and a few of the other boys were there, which was good. It was always good to catch up with them. And obviously get to Suncorp with 43,000 people there. And, despite the result, it's always good to be there. And, recommend it to get up there.
I thought the pitch was pretty good overall. I was there for all the games of footy and so much rain and some big games, some big score lines, but that pitch really withheld itself, and obviously a fantastic game. Obviously not the result we wanted, but a really great game against the Roosters, and no rain on a dry track was really, really good. Did you spot yourself on TV, Troy? Could you see yourself in the crowd?
No, I didn't. Was I on there?
Yeah, I saw
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I spent about...
I didn't know.
Every time I saw Hayden in the crowd, he was eating pizza. Nearly every time I went on him,
when I caught up with Hayden at the ground,
he was eating pizza.
Exactly.
Pizza. Yeah. How much pizza did you eat?
So pizzas were $9 a slice for an American style huge one. I'd say over the weekend, I probably had about 8 slices of those pizzas, maybe 2 a day. They also had frozen cocktails, like frozen margaritas, frozen fruit tingle. I had a fair bit of Summersby apple cider as well. Pretty damn good prices there at Suncorp. I was pretty impressed. And I was 3 rows from the front for my main seats, obviously for the Eels fans. Jonte, if you're watching this, thank you so much for hooking me up with that ticket in the Eels fans section. 3 rows from the front in the Eels fans section, watching Ryan Madison pump his hands together going, come on, was just an unreal experience.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get to the game. As we touched on, obviously, a 31-24 loss. Look, I said we'd win by 7 points. We lost by 7 points. I knew it'd be close. Look, we'll go. I'll give my thoughts on the game first because I usually leave it to you. But I saw it was one of those games. Look, I'm not that disappointed. It seems weird because we haven't backed up a really strong performance against Penrith. But it was one of those games where the 50-50 bounce the ball just didn't go our way. Like, let's look at the first try was soft. And I'll say it. I've said it before. And I'm not going to bag him out because he's been excellent for us. But once again, Reid Mahoney's online defence, first contact, is the reason why we haven't given him that extra $100,000 that we gave him at the Bulldogs. But look,
Adam, I kind of like that try. Though it was a nice little try from Jared Waerea-Hargreaves.
He's had a buck at 67 bucks. It almost paid for your pizza. But look, it was soft. It was soft, but the problem I have with it, and this is why I question his first contact, is he went low on a big man, 1.5 meters out from the line. He never should have been in the position to have to make a tackle by himself. It was a terrible read by Nathan Brown with the show and go. And look, it was impressive by Hargreaves. I didn't think he still had it in him, to be honest. But look, that's one of the reasons there. We'll get to the second try, and it's just a terrible bounce of the ball. That a freak bounce the ball through Gutho's leg, and Teddy, as Teddy does, just pops up at the right place at the right time. But the reason I say the bounce the ball didn't go away is obviously it was 12-6 at that stage. We had a chance down the other end not long after where I believe it was Will might have put the kick back through, or was it Bailey put the kick back through? Bailey put it back through after some space for a nice ball from Mitch, and Isaiah's charging through, and of course the ball for us bounces dead. I sat there at that moment and I said, we're not going to win this game. The footy gods aren't on our side. A ball sits up perfect for them. Same thing, Sam Walker's try. Obviously very well placed. He was pretty quick to get there. I'll question Gutho's positioning there is up in the line. But once again, sits up perfectly for him. Try time. We're down, they scored 3 tries, penalty goal, field goal. The boys' solid effort to fight back into the game. A few quick tries. Mitch pretty much went crazy and did his thing and pretty much put us on his back and said, right with me, boys. You can call me Steph Curry from now on. But, look, their try to put him back ahead, obviously, to Suwali. Freakish. It's just brilliant. I saw someone comment, I don't know, it might have been in our group or was in one of the groups, why don't we have a winger that can do that? We just never seem to, do we? It reminded me of that, but their try after half-time to make it 25-6 was 2 metres forward. We all know that. I don't know how they got that wrong. The Channel 9 commentators still haven't seen it. Yes, the Roosters can make mistakes and can get things go their way. I don't know if you've realised that, but look, that's my thoughts on the game. There's obviously some other key moments we'll break down. Matt, I'll go to you first because you're at home watching it. Similar?
Yeah, pretty much. As you said, I think Guffo was in the line because Opacek was off at that time, so he was up in the line defending, and smart play by Walker to see him look up and see him there and know straight away. But yeah, I just feel like we got to a point where we were behind by 5, and rather than attacking kick, Dylan went for a patient over the sideline kick and it hit the corner post. And then I think they went down and got the penalty. So I feel like there was no sense of urgency to get ahead in the game when we got to that point. I feel like there was just, it was like we were in front and we forgot we were actually behind. But yeah, there was a few plays. I think Sean Lane played way too many minutes. You saw after that one where he took it over the sideline where they threw it back in and he caught it and just dropped it. He was gone after that. I feel like even in the first half, the Sam Walker field goal, Lane gave up. If you watch the replay of Sam Walker taking that field goal, Lane's usually the first one there for the charge down or whatever. He literally just was too exhausted, gave up. So maybe we need to work on a bit more rotation when it comes to good old Laney. But yeah, I felt like, as you said, the bounce of the ball just wasn't there. The Guffo, if Guffo gets to that ball before Teddy, then I reckon it's a different ball game.
For sure. It's interesting. One thing you mentioned there was obviously Opacek being off the field. I forgot to mention that. I've got a bit of a problem with that being a sin bin. Simple fact is that Lane had already hit the ball down before the contact was made by Opacek. If Lane doesn't touch that ball, the ball reaches, was it Teddy? Yeah, I think it was Teddy, and Opacek wraps him up at the exact time. The error's already been committed, and then he's been taken out. He was no chance of picking that ball up anyway because it ended back up in whoever threw the ball with Radley. I don't know if it was Radley still field at the time, his hand. So I know Gutho made that exact argument after. If he doesn't hit the ball down, he's not going to take him out. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to save a try. So once again, it's one of those 50-50s. I didn't think the refereeing was bad besides the forward pass. I thought they got away with slowing the ruck down, which seems to be a common theme for teams that play us. So the ruck down to win a game. So we saw Manly do it expertly last year, and let's hope they can't do it again. Troy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just think we just started too slow. Obviously didn't get off to that good start and sort of took too long to recover and get back into the game. It's a fumble from Gutho, the Teddy's try. Stuff happens. As you mentioned, that forward pass, I think it was from Joey Manu, I think. That was very frustrating, but again, you're going to get those calls in games and you're not going to get calls in games I think also, again, another frustrating part, and us as Bulldogs coaches would actually pick up on this, but again, Junior and RCG going off at the same times as well. Really, I don't know, it really hurts us, I feel. In saying that, we have had in recent weeks Maddo come off the bench, so he's had the impact with those two off. And I just think, yeah, as I said, slow start, couldn't get back in, but it was pleasing to see that they did get back into the game. Whereas previous years they could have put their heads down, and that could have been a 40, 50-point game win to the Roosters. But Brett Kenny said at the start, before the game, he said he wouldn't be overly concerned if we lost by 2 or 4 points against the Roosters on that day. Obviously, he'd be disappointed that we'd lose the game, but you want to be playing your consistent football, consistent winning football in August. Obviously, before September, you want to get those 2, 3, 4, 5 wins together then. So, yeah, and the Roosters, they're always been a bogey side for us as well. So, it used to be, and South Sydney as well. So, we need to get over the Roosters and South Sydney.
No, you're right. You nailed it. You nailed it with. It's one of those games we would have lost by 40 or 50 a few years back. So that's one of the things I was impressed with. And as you said, it's about playing consistent football later in the year. And there were still promising signs in that game. The way we grinded and got back into the game. But the Roosters, they've been inconsistent. We said it last week. We knew they'd turn up with their best against us because teams seem to. But it's only 1 week. And the thing about footy is you get to go around the next week. So, all right, Hayden, you're obviously at the game. You saw a lot of footy on the weekend. Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, saw a lot of footy. Troy makes a really good point. I was yelling it out about the whole Reid and Campbell-Gillard and Junior Paulo being off the field at the same time. I think I compare it to Canberra. Ricky Stewart was doing it with Josh Papali'i and Joseph Tarpany. And like those two forwards, the ability for Canberra to score points. I think we do score points when they're off the field, but we definitely look like a different side, and at least one of those boys need to be on the field. I think they played bigger minutes against Penrith than they did against the Roosters. Ryan Madison, obviously, you'll mention it later, but he's starting this week and did a great job off the bench once again. He's in some try-scoring form too, Matto. So I think, Troy, you backed him for a double, so you're kind of close, half a point for that one. But
you're halfway there.
After watching 8 games over the weekend, absolutely.
I don't know if I did, to be honest.
Didn't you? I thought that was you.
No, I thought it was Isaiah. I thought. But anyway.
We'll double check.
No, Matto.
You did say Matto. Either way, you got
Did
half.
I?
2 tries, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, if you said Isaiah, you got half and half above, so that's almost a full point.
I'm a bit surprised you didn't touch on it. Obviously, the Dylan Brown towards the end of the game. I think
we were getting to that as another talking point. But you go ahead. You get us started.
Look, I think
you get us rolled up.
I was in front of it. I think it was a really good run into some open space set up for Dylan Brown. I think that the kick wasn't the right decision, and Gutherson clearly gave that to him. I could see that he was trying to come up with that set play. I think the whole game, Dylan was one of those players getting us out of our own half. I think the wingers did a really good job. I think our centres personally didn't step up enough on the weekend, but I think both Parra and Simonson, that early ball, those carries out, and I think Dylan was doing the same. And I think he had a good game, Dylan. You can't judge it off that one play, but like Matty says, it's a different ball game if the forward pass isn't called. I think it's a different ball game if Dylan Brown scores that try, even though we've seen Mitchell Moses fails field goals under pressure.
You're right. Look, we'll talk about it now. I'm going to disagree with you, Dylan. Like, yes, he made a lot of hard meters out of trouble, which I still think isn't his job. You're right. The centers need to be doing it. But for me, that was Dylan Brown of last year on the weekend. He looked a bit disinterested. He didn't try and create much besides running the ball himself, which we obviously have called him out for earlier in the year. His kicking game was actually probably, besides that kick, at least he was getting him taking some of the kicks, like taking a bit of pressure off Mitch when he could run the ball. But I know it was like that. How do I describe it? That airhead Dylan Brown that we used to see every now and then. And that's my opinion on his game of the weekend. That play, yeah, Gutho gave him a spray, but I'm going to put this very simply that I think you look for his mate there instead of looking for his captain on the inside. We know they live together. The housemates, Parra was like, he had, hey, bro, we're up here, bro, over here, there. And the little Kiwi talk in the head, I'm sure they do because all Kiwis can talk in the head. But he put
Shout out to our Kiwi listeners.
Shout out to our Kiwi listeners. So, but no, look, it wasn't the right option. We know that. But part two why it wasn't the right option is you've touched on it. Mitchell Moses under pressure isn't always the best. I know Dylan wasn't thinking about, oh, shit, I wonder if Mitch is going to make this kick if I kick this ball to the wing. At 31-24, that's the things you've got to be thinking about. If there's blokes chasing through, you're not going to kick to the left wing. You're going to kick back towards the post.
Yeah.
Also, it's harder for Teddy, whose body shape was Dylan was running this way, so his body shape was facing inwards. It's a lot harder for Teddy to turn around and run back towards the post. So he's, pretty much doing it, 240 in a way, or he can go the other way if he wants to, which is going to be slower. Teddy hasn't got the best knees, and we've seen his ability to fall over, so that could happen as well. But, yeah, look, it wasn't a great play, but we'll get to the good moments. Player of the match, honourable mention once again to Maddo. He's been superb, and as you said, he gets that starting spot that we think he deserves. We've been saying it for a while. It kind of had to happen, didn't it? I thought he was massive. So was Isaiah as well. Once again, just solid. He's really making us look stupid for not giving him whatever money he wanted to stay next year. Once again, salary cap pressure. But Mitchell Moses, I said he was the Steph Curry of our team. He just kind of said, get on my back, boys. I'm going to get you home this. When he set up the first try, the kick to himself looked like a bit of an Oz-tag try. It was something out of nothing, and I thought he was superb. But we'll go to your man of the match, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going to say Mitch, 100%. That try he put on for, I think it was in the second half. He come up with the 3 quick tries in 7 minutes or something. But, yeah, he just took that game and said where I think he was a bit criticised because he wasn't too involved in the Penrith game. He just done what he needed to do. And then I really think this game he kind of was like, well, let me show him what I can do. That try kind of reminded me of, I think it was Darwin against Brisbane, where he went down the short side, put the little kick in for himself, managed to get back in the field and kick for Guvho. But this time he just had too much pace for Teddy. And yeah, like you said, he just when we were down by 6, he just first time he touched the ball after the Roosters scored, he just made that break and created it for Isaiah. So yeah, I'm gonna say Mitch with obviously Maddo close second again. But yeah.
Right, is anyone not saying Mitch?
No, I think you've mentioned the top 3 there. I think Maddo, Isaiah, and Mitchell.
That's pretty obvious. So
yeah.
We'll finish off talking about that by saying Mitch. If you keep that up, you'll be in the blue. And by that we mean us at the Bulldogs will probably try and chase you because we've got an unlimited salary cap. But look, anything else to touch on for that game? I think we've covered most of the key moments, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yep. Like I said, obviously a disappointing loss, but kind of one that didn't hurt. Like I said, they showed a lot of fight, and we can move on to next week. And look, talking of this week's game, obviously Manly on Friday night. They pulled our pants down before at Bankwest. I'm sitting on about 5% battery here, so maybe less. I'm going to try and get the team up.
Do me to for?
I think I've
Here
got
we
it.
go again. It's Manly and Parra.
I should be right. There's no changes in the starting, well, besides Madison, as we mentioned, coming in round at the bench. I am surprised. I don't think Hayes Perham's been playing bad. I'm going to touch on that. I think he's definitely deserved his opportunity. And look, as you said, he's getting better out of trouble. He seems to be finding the ground a lot better, which is one thing we saw players like Bevan French and other players before struggle with. Obviously, he's not that big. So he's finding the ground so they can't drag him back. But look, I still don't think he's a winger. I still think he's our 14. We've seen him get called out a couple of times now, obviously against the Cowboys. And, on the weekend, it was a freakish kick, but I don't think he's a winger. I would have liked to see Russell come back in. I'm thinking the only reason maybe he hasn't is either 1, keeping the faith with Perham, or 2, maybe Sivo's closer and they don't want to bring Russell back in. You've got to think it this way. Russell's nowhere near on the money that Sivo is, and one thing the NRL coaches do get criticised for is paying blokes overs to play reserve grade. And you got to look at it that way. And it's the same kind of thing with people saying, oh, give Cardi a run, give Cardi a run. I know Matt loves Cardi Party, but when you get a bloke back like, Murata this weekend, obviously on a bit more money as well, it's one thing that there's not so much a coach's decision there. It's the back office that kind of goes, play this guy. We're paying him money. We don't want to see him in reserve grade. But look, I'll go to the bench where the biggest changes are. Obviously, Madison at 13. Makatoa, Murata, Kafusi, and Brown. We've said it before. I'll say it again. I feel like that's our strongest bench. It's a big bench. We've got, all four blokes can play front row. Murata can obviously play second row. Brown can play lock. You've both touched on it. Hayden, Troy, obviously Paulo and RCG going off. I think if Murata comes on as our first forward with Brown coming on as well to the front row, I think we lose that, or we gain the forward size and don't lose that, impact. Troy, you agree?
Nah, look, I mean, the players won't like it, but I'd have one of Junior or RCG start off the bench and the other one start, and then just swap those two over. Try that one. I think Nathan Brown he's probably been struggling a little bit this year. Hasn't quite seen the form that he has had in previous years. I don't know whether that's because of the injury he suffered late last year and he's still in the back of his mind, but for me, it just doesn't seem like he's running it as hard as what he used to.
He's not getting into fights, Troy.
He's
right.
He's not. He's
not on the footy field anyway.
So I just don't. I think he might be a little bit struggling at the moment, but bench is good. Good to see Murata back. He should be pumped up, and it'll be interesting to see how Matto goes starting this week.
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, he definitely deserves it. But I'll touch on Brown. I don't think he's playing bad. I just think Matto's playing that well, and he's getting on a bit. He started as a front rower. We've said for weeks now we think Madison's our better lock because he's a better ball player, obviously being a half when he was younger, a bit more agile, a bit quicker movement as well. But I think Brown's future kind of is in the front row. I think he will come on at lock at some period. Madison will probably shift to the second row and give Lane a bit of a rest. But your thoughts, Hayden, on that team?
Yeah, pretty solid team. Great to see Murata Niokore back in the side. And I'll touch on it. The background we've got tonight in jersey 24 in the reserves. A potential, we'll touch on it, return of Micah Sevo. Probably will play in the New South Wales Cup this week, which is...
BA already confirmed it.
It's been confirmed, has it?
Yeah. BA said he's no chance of playing first.
Look, he needs a week in New South Wales Cup. Look, was it last year, the year before, where Brad Parker took him down? He lost a lot of confidence to that injury. So coming back from an ACL is never going to be easy. So give him a couple of weeks. I agree with what someone else said. Maybe even a month. Maybe after that bye period, get a bit of footy back in and a bit of confidence, a bit of running. So anything else?
I'd give him a month. To be fair,
there's a lot to come back from, especially a bloke of his size that relies so much on his leg drive as well. We're going to look at him and his arms are going to be probably twice the size because that's why he's been sitting there doing these ones the whole time. But anyway, Matt, your thoughts on the team and our final form?
It was interesting that what BA touched on today in the press conference, that with Sevo, he's a big game player. We want to look after him now because we'll need him more in the back end of the season. So he's already confirmed that he's going to play about 60 minutes, and then they're going to pull him off of the field after, just to see how he goes. So it's going to be interesting. Seguiaro playing for Manly reserve grade, whether he'll step up a bit. But it's pretty good Murata back. That way it covers, obviously, if one of our backs do go down, we've got Murata there. But I'd like to see maybe Russell will get a shot, but as you said, Hayes has probably earned the spot. But yeah.
I'm glad you clarified they're going to pull him off the field. I was a bit worried.
Yeah.
I was a bit worried about his groin after a knee injury. So, you're right. Hayes is. It's not so much he's deserved his spot. He's deserved his chance. He hasn't done anything majorly wrong, but that can also be pretty hard on Sean Russell, who scored 3 tries in 29 minutes as well. So he's got to bide his time. And I think Hayes, touch wood, he may have broken the curse of the 2 jersey, because this is what his 4th game in the 2 jersey. So you never know. He might be right. I'll move on. Obviously, before we get to our predictions and stuff, Tom Travojevic, Daly Cherry Evans, both under injury doubt. Do they play, or is there just this usual shit from Des Hasler?
They'll play.
They'll play. Yeah.
They'll play. You reckon they play? Yeah, Manly pulled our pants down last year. Was it last year they pulled it? Yeah, early on last year they pulled our pants down on Sunday Arthur at Bank West.
But in saying that was Bob Fulton. It just
I know it was Bob Fulton, but there was also one more thing I'm going to touch on is they slowed the frigging ruck down. All they did was slow the ruck down all game, and we couldn't do it. So if I was Brad Arthur, instead of be off talking about Sivo and whatever else silly things he said this week, I'd be touching on that and slowing speed down, because every game we've lost this year, the teams have got away with it. We need that quick speed. Let's Reed jump out. Obviously, Mitch and Dylan both quite electric there at that first receiver role, but I feel like that's where we can lose a game if we can't get quick plays balls this week. I can see us bouncing back. It's our on week. We're 1 on 1 off, 1 on 1 off. So it's our on week this week. So who do we play next week, guys? After this,
Raiders in Canberra.
It's not a good off week to have down there. It's going to be cold. Anyway, look, Troy, you want to go first this week?
What bowl predictions, score predictions?
Yeah, all them ones.
Just a quick one to touch on is, why do the press have to release stories about players that we're about to play? We saw it last week with Keary. This week it's come out that how Manly second rower is having form of the season and he's using the snub that we gave him.
They love it, don't they? They love that every player that could have played for Parramatta who's gone on to do something, all you hear about is it.
It's 3/4 of the league, but
we have this thing, obviously not us at the Bulldogs, but we at Parramatta have this thing called the salary cap, believe it or not. Look, we'll talk about it now. I feel that if you bring a player, starting your Harold Matts, SG Ball, Jersey Flag, obviously if they're good enough to make the first game of New South Wales Cup, there needs to be some kind of exemption from the salary cap. The biggest rort ever for that one was not rort, but where they got screwed over was the Dragons with Josh and Brett Morris. You bring a pair of twins through the same time, at the same age, obviously, because they're twins, are born on the same day, right? And they have to lose one of them to the Bulldogs, to us. To me, that's where they should have started put some kind of system in place where you got to be rewarded. Whether this be if they play first grade, you get $50,000. You can pay them that $50,000, obviously, not third-party deals through local holding dealerships and cars that we've tried before, but you pay them that $50,000, but it's exempt from your salary cap because it's a way of rewarding people for juniors. Like, look at Penrith. In 2 or 3 years' time, probably 2 years' time, they're going to be screwed. They just keep bringing through good kids, and they're going to lose some of them. They already are.
Well, they already are. Like, Liam Martin rejected his contract the other day, so he's going to open market. And...
I mean, I know they didn't bring Kiki out there because he come from North Queensland, but he was still there, obviously, when he was younger in that 20s and stuff. But, the ones they have brought through that they could potentially lose, they should have some kind of exemption for. And it would encourage people. There's certain teams that don't know how to bring juniors through. Not mentioning any names, but Nick Politis, if you're listening, it's your club. They don't know how to bring juniors through. Yeah. So it encourages them to bring juniors through. If you've got 10 juniors that have come through your system, and look, a lot of kids don't make it. We often joke about the Toyota Cup scores, Jersey Flag, whatever you want to call it. There's a reason why a lot of kids don't make it. But if you've got 10 juniors and you can save $500,000, you can be paying someone like Isaiah Papali, who you bought as a fringe first grader from the Warriors, on $250,000 a year. You can give him $600,000 a year so he doesn't go to another club.
Yeah,
that's my grind anyway. It's something I'd like to see. I know the A-League tried it for a while with the young marquee players, junior marquee players. So they weren't superstars, but could be local kids you bought through. So they might play 5 or 6 games, but not included. So anyway, look, we'll go to that now. Troy, your bold predictions, your
All
first
right,
try.
well, just before I get to that, just a shout out to Tiana Penatani and the Cherrington sisters, Ruben and Kennedy, have re-signed with Parramatta for the 2022 season, NRLW season. So that's great to see. The signings are coming thick and fast. Okay, bold predictions. Well, my bold prediction, score prediction, and first try score prediction are all going to be rolled up into one. So
All right.
you can call it a bold prediction all in one. So first try scorer will be Clint Gutherson. The score is going to be like 50-20, and to roll into that, Gutho will score a triple
Yeah,
in his
right.
in his 150th game, NRL game. So congratulations, Gutho, on that as well.
Yeah, 50-20.
So there you go, very bold.
Yep, great. 70 points scored, 50-20.
And then if we score 50 against Manly can't win the comp because no teams
That's
ever
true.
won
They can't
comp.
win the comp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, my brother's all over that. Every time someone scores 50, he posts that up. So, all right, who's next, Matt?
Yeah, so I've got kind of close to Troy's one, but I've gone 44-12. I've got Maddo first try scorer, and I think that will roll on after we need him scoring first try rather than last try to pump us up. So we need to start strong. And I've got Guffo double. I had Guffo double. I had it written down here all day.
Yeah,
I knew someone would throw in Guffo triple or double.
Well, you got to do what Troy did, and Troy messaged me at lunchtime. I said, "Please let me go first, mate. Please let me go." He didn't really. He sent me a message. And
next week, Matty, you can go first.
He sent me a message at lunchtime, telling me I look beautiful. But anyway, Hayden.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I reckon you boys are disrespecting the Sea Eagles a bit too much in the scoreline here. I'm going to go Parramatta 13 plus. I'm going to go a scoreline
again.
I'm going to go.
This is like a close game, but we're going to win by 40.
You're disrespecting the Sea Eagles. I'm going to go.
I'm going to
go 13 plus.
I'm going to go 30 points to 16. I'm going to go Tom Opacek to score the first try. And this isn't my bold prediction, but being Gutho's 150th, I reckon he'll get that try assist. He might whether it be a pass or a kick. My bold prediction this week, so I've got Parramatta scoring 30 points. I'm going to say that at least half of the points from the team, so over 15 points, are scored by Mitchell Moses, whether it be his goals, his penalty goals, and a try. Half the points from the team this weekend, Mitchell Moses points.
He's going to kick 2 field goals.
So Parramatta 13 plus and Mitchell Moses 15 plus.
But don't disrespect Manly. Look, I'm kind of with you in a way. I'm with the other 2 boys anyway. I think we will put on a clinic this week. It's our 1 week. They disrespected us last year. They turned up an absolute pearl of a game there where we look like reserve grades, to be honest. So I'm going to go Parra 38-10. My first try scorer. We're due for a big man. It's got to be. I'm going Reg. I'm going to Reg off a barge over.
I almost had Reg.
Reg. I'm going to go Reg from a tip-on from Junior. What is 2 better than 2
a couple weeks ago and it didn't work, but yeah. All right.
You did that or you predicted it?
That was my bold prediction.
Oh, okay. Yep. A tip-on. Yeah, it could work.
Try
well, I'm not going to say Junior to do a chip and chase and regather and throw it Reg, am I? Look, you kind of stole my bold prediction because I was going to go for Mitch to actually score quite a few points as well. So I'm going to come up with one on this. I'm going to come up with, I reckon there'll be 2 sin bins in the game.
Ooh.
Yep. I haven't even seen the Manly team yet. Give me a sec. Nathan Brown off the bench is going to be fired up and want his spot back. Nathan Brown to go to the sin bin. Yep. For also coming off the bench, Marty Tapau. I reckon there's going to be a bit of a slat fest between those 2 boys. A high shot into a slat fest. There you go. Is that bold enough for you?
Yep.
Yep. And either team will be up by 14 at halftime. No, we're keeping away from that one this week.
So Mitchell 20 plus.
Mitchell 20.
That's good. It's good because I changed him back to my captain. So
Wonderful.
super coach.
All right. Has anyone got anything else? Are we done for the night?
Just
Actually,
thanks,
hang on, boys.
David.
Before you go, I've just got to
Thanks, David Kidwell.
hang on. Sorry,
Yes,
guys.
thank you, David
Just a minute.
Kitwell. It's gone to Argentinian Rugby Union.
All right, no worries. I'll let him know. Boys, I just got a phone call off Gus.
Yeah.
He's not happy with us. Our performance isn't good enough, and he's actually brought in Anthony Mundine to replace us. So you've heard it here first. Anthony Mundine will be the real face, or not the face, but he's the real coach of the Bulldogs.
Coaching advisor.
Yep, coaching advisor.
He mustn't have liked the jerseys in the background.
He didn't. He saw them, I think. We're live streaming the Gus's penthouse at the moment.
Leaked jersey pictures.
Yeah.
I got next week's bold prediction ready to go. I'll tell you what.
He's already got it.
You can't have it next week.
Why don't he say it now, and then we'll see.
No,
Why
we've
doesn't
got nothing to talk about next week then.
Why doesn't everyone say them now just for a bit of fun, something different? I'll tell you what, you boys, you're so confident on Sivo being back in a month. I'm going to say that the headline for the papers on Monday is that Sivo scores a double upon NRL return against the Raiders. Bold prediction for next week, Sivo plays and scores 2 tries.
All right. Let's hope he gets to the New South Wales Cup game and you haven't absolutely cursed him. I'm keeping mine because I struggled to think of one this week, but you only said that so we didn't steal it next week. All right, that'll wrap us up for tonight. So hopefully everyone can get out there. Should be a pretty decent crowd there at Bank West. It's starting to get a bit colder, so wear your jumpers, get your hot pies, and get your drink on a Friday night at Combank Stadium.
Well, good luck to the Bulldogs and Anthony Mundine on Friday night, and good luck to our Eels following that game. Thanks.